first non-official book review because I don't know what we're doing. Okay, so today I will be reviewing a very nice book series by the name of Jackaby. And as you can see here, these are all the four very interesting books in the series. Each one of them is very beautifully written, and props to the author William Ritter. He is genius. So let me give a brief summary about this series. The series is more likely the genre is supernatural. Supernatural mystery. It has romance. It's a very thrilling adventure. The I would say it's very good, very well written. Love it. The setting of this book series is very interesting to me. Its setting is in the late 19th century. We could say it's in the 1800s, 18 plus, maybe 1870s, and uh, its setting is very. I wouldn't say old, but it's compelling to me. It's like it's the age where people wear top hats. It's the age of where people wear coats. They go on very nice parties. That type of setting. So that's like a very nice setting for me. I really love it. And a brief summary of the story. It starts with our young and thrifty heroine, Abigail Rook, as she explores. I wouldn't say explore. She's more of a runaway, a castaway. The story is she ran away from home. Her home is in London, England, and she boarded a ship to find new adventure. And she arrived in America in the very fictional town of New Fiddleham, which I don't know if exists in America, maybe. So uh, she arrives in New Fiddleham in search of new adventures, perhaps a job. And in the midst of that, she meets very strange, very weird, lanky looking Mr. Jackaby, R.F. Jackaby. And I'm not really going to give spoilers here, but that's not really his real name. I don't know what his real name is, and I don't think I'll ever know since I already read the series and it doesn't say anything. So their meeting is very short, but it's interesting nonetheless. And just to skip a few chapters in, Abigail, she ends up working for Mr. Jackaby, and Mr. Jackaby is I would say, a detective in the supernatural. So he has his own, I would say, private detective company. That's what it is. And uh, this Jacoby character is he is a seer. He can see supernatural things, whether if it's ghosts, fairies, the fae, all those goblins, pixies, nixies, trolls, all those. Yes, he has that side, and his character reminds me a little bit of the crazier side, maybe like Willy Wonka, maybe the Mad Hatter, something like that. He wears a very weird hat too. I can't really imagine what the hat is. So imagination, imagination. Um, so yeah, the he is very you know a very loving character. Weird, but I would say if you were in his shoes, you would enjoy reading him also. Uh, of course, Jackaby has his own backstory, but to not to give spoilers, I won't really say them. You need to read the book yourself, especially this one. This one, this one's good. And yeah, throughout the series, there are many supernatural mysteries that needs to be solved. And in each book, there it has its own case. But when you read the series, you will find out that this case might lead into, it connects to each other. So like if you read the first series, it will connect to the second book, connect to the third book, and finally this book. And when you remember everything, you finally get it. It was a very amusing journey for me to read this. And um, yeah, it's very good. Very good. The romance in this is a bit cut short. I don't want to spoil anything. You know, of course, when I say the romance, I mean between Abigail, but not Jackie. Jackaby is her employer. There's this one dashing character. His name is Charlie Kane. Charlie Kane would be he's like the Twilight werewolf guy because he is one of those supernatural creatures that can change into werewolves, but they're not good werewolves. They're like the good ones, you know. And uh, there's some tension between them. Of course, if you read the first book, you will obviously notice that Abigail has a crush, and then you go to the second book, still has a crush, and then they were official, and then of course, it goes on to the next book, into the next book. Spoilers for this book: he died. I'm sorry, but you have to read it to know what happens in the end. Okay, don't blame me. Okay, so um, of course, there's more. There, other than that, there's other romances. I won't really spoil it because I'm too lazy to explain that kind of romance, but it's very sweet. It's very nice. I would recommend this series to people who love supernatural, the genre, people who love mysteries, who love thrillers. This is uh, the the writing here is very comprehensive. I like it. It's, you know the literature in this series is very very good. I like it. It's far more complex than it's not really complex, but it's far better than any other book I've actually read. That is like connected to supernatural and mystery. But this is very nice. I recommend this book series to anyone who loves supernatural, mystery, thrillers. A pinch of romance, even though it's cut short. Yeah, spoilers. I'm sorry to die. And another thing about this series, if you go each of these books, if you go to chapter 13, you won't find anything. I don't know why. I've been looking for answers. I don't know if I want to reach out to William Ritter or not, but I need answers. Why is chapter 13 blank? Is it a supernatural thing? I guess that's the genius because he keeps me thinking, what would be on chapter 13? Or maybe, you know, it's like, it's very interesting. So, uh, that's all for my book review. I recommend this book very much. This is good. And I'll see you, I don't know when. Bye.